Good evening, anyone watching this. If you think that there are any problems with video quality or voice quality or voice volume or microphone, let me know in the chat comments. Today we are going to do a quick recap of today's lecture. Hopefully we will spend less than 60 minutes on all of that. And at the end, if we have time, we will do a little bit of practice. We will just invent a couple more accounting entries and see what their effect on trial balance sheet, and income statement is. So let's begin. Okay. As I promised, first of all, I will answer questions from Q&A regarding any course topic. So I see here someone is asking what one can do with QuickBook for Accountants account. The question itself is in Russian, but please make sure that you opened QuickBooks for Accountants account and that you never gave QuickBooks any credit card information. In the case that you gave QuickBooks credit card information, you most likely opened some free trial version of the QuickBooks business account and they might charge you for something. But if you opened QuickBooks for Accountants, that should be free for you. The only issue with that is that QuickBooks suppose that you will use that account for your accounting practice. So it's called QuickBooks for Accountants. So they believe that you should be an accountant to use that. I don't see any issues if you are just learning an accounting and you use that for learning purposes and you have some intention to become an accountant. I don't see any issue with that. However, if you use it for some business not related to accounting practice, like for example, you have a trucking company and you use it for that, or you have some other lawn moving business, or hairdresser business, barber shop, or some cafeteria. In that case, I don't think that QuickBooks will impose any penalties on you for using that. However, they can terminate that account and you will kind of lose the your historical records. So I would say that it kind of feels too risky to run a business in that account because especially for businesses, QuickBooks has a paid account, which is like a QuickBooks Online for small business. They have various options there. So if you want QuickBooks for business, you probably need to open a business account. However, since you already registered QuickBooks for Accountant account, I believe you can give your business a much better deal than the business can get from the outside. So you can refer your business or somebody else's business, but they will have to buy a QuickBooks for the business account. And in your QuickBooks for Accounting account, you kind of have to run your accounting books. Like if you have an accounting practice, you run your books in that app, in that service. Let's see, we have about three people online. That's good for Saturday night, not bad. So hopefully I answered that question. If not, you can follow up. Let's see what we did. So on the schedule today, we started with Q&A and review of the homework. I went through several homework files. If you are new to the course, the homework file is located in the homework public folder. To do the homework, I have an instruction here. So to do the homework, you just need to make a copy of copy.me file and you can work in that file. If you connect late to the course, you will already see that some work is already done there. However, you can delete that and you can redo that, or you can rewrite that, or you can change the numbers. Any type of practice will be beneficial for your learning. Okay, so we started with that. We did some homework from the previous module. Then we moved to the soft skills. We discussed what are the benefits of accounting knowledge. There are plenty. You can read all of that. I will not spend much time on it right now. There is a plenty benefits of using an accounting and have an accounting knowledge. And I also shared a link with you. It's on the same topic from Harvard Business School about accounting knowledge. And they give you a link here to some free ebook, A Manager's Guide to Finance and Accounting. And it's a great ebook to review if you want to make yourself more familiar with some terms, or if you want to take a look at the quality of content of Harvard Business School. It's free and you can use it. It has beneficial information. The only comment about that, here is this guide. It's more managerial point of view, so it's less detailed than we do on the course, and it's more high level, but it's a good complementary resource for the work we are doing here. Let's see what next. Then I shared some learning techniques related to memorization of lists. We have quite a few lists in accounting, one of which is like the chart of accounts. Basically, what I think is good, what I think is a great practice to memorize is to memorize when you start an accounting learning, is to memorize how many accounts you have and what are those accounts under assets. So what assets account do you have? What liabilities account do you have? What equity, revenues and expenses are probably secondary. There is not much revenue expenses. So basically, if we go to the homework file, to the debits and credit stuff, let's see, where is it? Okay, it's here. So basically, it is beneficial on the early stage just to memorize the accounts and memorize which, so that assets increase by debits and decrease by credits, and it's vice versa for liabilities. And I have shown you how we can memorize it with a memory palace technique. So basically you do a map of a place which you know very good. In our case, that was my kitchen. I will not be opening it. I will try. So I didn't repeat the information beforehand, and I will close my eyes in order not to see anything. I will just try to imagine my kitchen and memorize what story I have and what list did I have to remember. So I remember that I have a fridge which is full of cash, and I have one customer in my freezer who didn't pay his accounts receivable balance, and I had to do a allowance for accounts receivable. Then I have a Scooby mushroom. So someone told me it's not kombucha mushroom, it's a kombucha Scooby. Okay, kombucha Scooby. And that's our finished product. So we have inventory, finished goods, and we have raw materials like sugar and tea, inventory raw materials. And we also opened an Instagram or TikTok account for the Scooby for kombucha mushroom. We opened a TikTok account for that, and we prepaid for advertising. So we have advertising prepayment. Third on the list is a mixer, and for mixer, which is very dangerous weapon you have on the kitchen, we need to prepaid insurance, and we also need to prepaid rent if you are not able to pay an insurance. And the third one, which I forgot initially, was notes receivable, which can arise if we got a compensation from insurance, if we are about to get the compensation from insurance. The fourth item on the list was my microwave, and that was what did I do? So microwave was a great piece of equipment, but I shouldn't put my wife's plant, it's for property plant and equipment, my wife's plant into the microwave because it can explode and cover everything with the ground. And so that's for land, that's to remember land. And then I have oven, and Gogol burned his second volume of Dead Souls in the oven, so he lost his copyright. It is fully depreciated, fully amortized now, so accumulated amortization copyright. He would have been better just bringing that to Goodwill. So basically, I remembered all of that stuff, and I can recall that in my memory in perfect order by making a memory palace of these items, then allocating the list which I need to remember to these items, and writing some story. It should be funny or creepy story about the subject. I wouldn't say that that's like a genius technique, or that's just like that works like a miracle. You still have to invest some time and effort into that. But with that technique, you can remember the list of things like in the perfect order, and you can recall them from your memory like many days after you did that. Yeah, with time deteriorates, so the quality of the list will decrease. But if you recall it like once a month, you will still get perfect results. So all the tricksters, like the people who remember the cards for the cards game, they can remember 50 cards, or they can even remember thousands of cards when going to Vegas. They can do that with that technique. You just need to have a big enough memory palace, and you need to have a big enough imagination, and you need to be able to imagine like a really emotionally good stories which can trigger your memory and emotions. I see some comment about video quality, but my internet speed is great, so it's probably some YouTube issue. Let me know if you see any difficulties with the stream. I got a message from Olga about whether today we are repeating the morning stream. Yeah, Olga, today we do, right now we do just a short recap of what we did in the morning. If you think you do not need like a memory palace or the benefits of accounting, you can skip a morning lecture on that. I'm doing a quick recap, and if I get any questions about the morning session, I will answer that. But yeah, I'm just doing a recap of the morning session, but not that detailed. I will not drill into details. In the morning we spent like 3-4 hours of work, and today I'm going to squeeze all of that in probably 40 minutes. Okay, what we did next. So memorization technique is a great technique to have. It's applicable to any studying where you need to remember lists of things. With a phone invention, you kind of relieved your memory from that exercise of remembering things, and you kind of have to train your memory muscle, to be able to be active again. Let me just share the link with you. So here is the link that I got the question about Harvard book, and I shared the link to the article, and inside the article there is a link that if you want to download free ebook Manager's Guide to Finance and Accounting, you can get it. They want your email for that, and I'm not sure if I just share direct link to PDF. I'm not sure if it will open. Let's see. Oh, it still works. It's not that protected. So you can use a second link to get directly to the PDF. I'm subscribed to many spam from many universities because I download all free ebooks anywhere where I just see them. I'm just curious what they have. Okay, let's move on. So we covered memorization techniques, and we moved to the balance sheet. Balance sheet is actually a second module in the MIT. Let's see if I have. Okay, yeah, I have. So here it is. Most of that lecture was the repetition of the definitions which we already learned, like what is an asset. That's like a future economic benefits, and you should own this benefit, that source of future economic benefits. We covered what different types of assets we can have. That's actually, most of that is actually what we have just learned in that exercise with the memory balance. We haven't covered the liabilities though, but you can do it on your own. MIT gave us the concept of operating cycle, which starts from cash payment for supplies, then we process the inventory, then we sell the inventory, then we collect the cash, and all of that determines how fast your cash turns from cash payment to vendors to cash collection from clients. It's not really an accounting concept, it's more managerial concept, but we touch managerial accounting closely, so we need just to remember that. As I mentioned, if you get to the entry-level job interview in accounting or financial positions, they might ask you a couple of questions about operating cycle. Here we covered just what types of assets are there. You can go through that yourself. Not much really to look at. They also ask what type of account is it, and if we learned, we would know that equipment is asset account, pre-retained earnings is equity account, patent is asset account, and so on. Common stock is equity, dividend payable is like a trade payable, it's a liability, and so on. What did we do then? Okay, so here we reached an income statement. Let me see. Income statement. Okay. Okay, that's all theory, and here is the homework. In the morning, if you remember, we went through several homeworks, like Maria, Yelena, Irene. So we went through these homeworks, and I explained if I found any kind of misstatements or very little errors. If I found something like that, I fix that. So they have a good homework now. And then we worked on what was supposed to be your next homework. We established a template. I've already got a balance sheet template here, and my balance sheet balances, and it uses SUMIF function to get data from the trial balance. So in order for my financials to balance, my trial balance have to balance. And we also built an income statement here, and that income statement, it also receives its data from the balance sheet, from the trial balance, with the help of SUMIF's function. If you haven't learned how SUMIF function work, I strongly advise you to kind of Google it and look extra. If my video is not enough, feel free to watch any other videos. Feel free to practice. I can do a quick demonstration here. Let's say I want to sum if 5 xxx. Okay, let's say I want to just sum if couple of items. These items do not make any sense in accounting. I just want to show you how SUMIF works. So I go here, I print SUMIF, and first I need to select a range, and I select that's column B for that range. Second, I need to select a criteria, and that is 3xx. X is my criteria. And third, I need to select that column from where I want to sum if the amounts. And I got 63,948. If we sum, okay, that's interesting. So that's only sum if the first value. Okay, I see what the problem is. If you see here, we kind of have a merge cells problem here. And to do that, okay, I even cannot unmerge that. So that's a tricky part. SUMIF doesn't work on unmerged cells. So we kind of have to unmerge that, and then we have to, okay, it will require a bit of work. So that's good that we find out about that. So basically, SUMIF doesn't want to work on merge cells. What we did here, we unmerged the cells, so we do not have like several cells merged in here. We unmerged everything, and let's see. So we want the total for this. So my total gets to 2209,047, and we have that here, and I will say it's for SUMIF. I cannot emphasize enough how SUMIF function is important in accounting. When you work with real accounting papers on a, I would say, medium to large company, you will have to use SUMIF basically every day. Again, it can depend on the software package you use. It can depend on many other things, on the complexity of the business, but it's highly probable that you will have to use SUMIF function. So I would say it's a good investment of your time of just learning it. And if you apply it to an accounting position in in a bookkeeping or accounting company or in the corporation. If you get interviewed by some manager from accounting, it is highly probable that they will ask you about your Excel skills, about what you know, what you can do in Excel. And it is a good bet if you tell them that you can do sum if, lookup, pivot, autofilter, sum ifs, and that these kind of things, and that you can build, of course, a trial balance from the list of transactions, and that you can build income statement and balance sheet from the trial balance. And that's what we have been doing here. So today we established a balance sheet template. So for your homework, you will work in that transaction list. You will kind of build transactions for your company. And mine is currently not that great. I need to fix a few things. And from that transactions list, we will sum if the data to trial balance. You already have something in the trial balance, so you will just sum if more and more. And if you do a transaction with a new account, you kind of have to add this account here to trial balance. Let's do something right now. We sold services here. Okay. We in salary payable to admin personnel. Okay, salary payable to admin personnel. And we just accrued it. So let's assume we hired that person at the end of the period, closer to the month end, and we haven't paid them yet. So it's just a month end accrual, and let it be $1,000. Oops. So please note, this is not a full scope payroll provision. So this is just a learning provision, so it is simplified. I will put in my Q&A I will put a payroll provision in my Q&A to find out how full payroll provision will look like, because you will have like a salary itself, which will sent to the IRS, like a federal taxes. You will have FICA, like a social security tax, and Medicare. And you also can have a state income tax or some state occupancy tax or anything like that. So when you do a payroll provision, you will have quite a few lines there. But we will say we will just do an aggregated, let's call it payroll. We will do that in an aggregated fashion. So payroll provision, it's a credit. It's a credit. It's a liability. We haven't paid it yet. And let's think what debit should be. So salary is an expense. And that's why it should be payroll expense. But because that's an admin personnel, and we know that in income statement, we want selling, general, and administrative expenses to be separate. That's why we say that that's payroll expense admin. Okay, let's see if our trial balance balances. It actually balances, but it balances because we have just invented 2 new accounts, and the trial balance didn't catch both, so it is really still unbalanced. To find things like that, I advise to use Vlookup function. I will not do much detail about that. I have a video about that, or you can Google how does it work. So basically for Vlookup function, it's similar to SUMIF. Let's see. Okay, so you select a criteria first, and then you will go somewhere and try to find that criteria in some table. In our case, it will be a table which will start with the trial balance accounts and end with the amounts in the trial balance. And then you put a comma and select a number of column you want to look at. So we just select number 3. And then I will just put 0. That's irrelevant criteria for our formula. So as you see, we got NA here, and if I do that exercise for cash or for these accounts, I got some traction, I got the amounts. So that means that these two items are simply not in our trial balance. So what do we do with that? We just go here and add these items. So that will obviously be selling administrative expense. Let's see what's the name of the transaction. I will just use a formula here. So payroll expense admin. Yeah, and SUMIF, I just copy the formula, and SUMIF perfectly catches that. And now I need to add a liability. It will be current liability. I will add it right here. I will use a formula from payroll provision. And what that should be? That should be called, I would assume, trade and other payables. Okay, I will skip it. I will leave it blank, and I will go to my... Okay, I will first add a formula here. So my trial balance balances. But what about balance sheet? Balance sheet is not balanced for $1,000. That's because I need to fix a formula here. And I need to add trade and other payables. You are probably asking yourself or myself about how do I know what to add in this column? How do I know what to add in this column? Where do I get all these accounts from? And I would say that the only way to get that knowledge is through practice. We will do a lot of practice together, but in the future, you will either ask your colleagues about that, or ask more senior people or other people from your network about that, or you can study financials of different companies. If you remember, it's pretty easy to get any financials of the public company. You just Google SEC filings. Amazon. We haven't looked at Amazon yet. So let's go first link, and you need to select quarterly filings here. So quarters are most recent. Let's do annual. I'm just curious, how will annual financials look? Let's see. Okay, it's just some bad format, really bad format. Okay, let's do PDF. And in the PDF you find out financial statements there and consolidated balance sheet. Okay, so here it is, a balance sheet of Amazon. If you see, there is not much items here. In the Apple, I remember I counted like 18 lines. It's about maybe a bit more here, but most of the stuff is just empty in the shareholders' equity. And we more or less have like a standard items here. Cash and cash equivalents, marketable securities, inventories, accounts receivable, accounts payable. So basically, here's where you get a balance sheet account. Depending on your circumstances, depending on the circumstances of your company, your business might be different from the Amazon business. So you want to look for the companies in the same industry first. And then, depending on the amounts involved, you might have some material amounts on accounts other than that. In that case, you just kind of add an account which you deem reasonable. So basically, there is no governmentally approved form for the balance sheet or income statement or trial balance. You kind of need to work it out on your own. But you have plenty of references to do that. Let's see. So we can cover these balances. We can cover them from external financials or from our understanding of the company business. Now let's go into trial balance. How do we get these accounts? For these accounts, we kind of invent our own. So if you establish a new company, you invent your own accounts. You can use whatever you want. My advice is to be as granular as possible because every type of expense can get different treatment by the IRS, or it can get a different need. It can have a different reporting need for the management. Let's remember what the exercise we did with income statement. Here we broke down our net sales to revenue from products and revenue from services. And we break down cost of products to revenue of products and cost of products. And we used Amazon income statement as a template for that. And we also find out that we have advertising expense. So let's switch back to trial balance. So for example, here's our revenue from products. What is our gross profit from product? It's a revenue from products and less cost of merchandise sold. So we still have $5,000 gross profit from the products. But what about advertising? We spent $5,000 on advertising of products on social media. So if we do a next step, gross profit, and then we can get operating profit. So to calculate operating profits, we kind of have to add that advertising here. Okay, some formula error. And now we get zero operating profit. So we basically wasted all the profits from the products on advertising. And we need to ask ourselves, is it worth the effort to conduct business in such way? We can say that advertising of the profits of the products can bring some service revenue for our business, and that might be the legit comment. Let's look how did our services perform. So we use that merchandise here. We used cost of subcontractor services here, and operating profit based on our information. We earned 9,000 operating profits from services. In that case, it might be, we might still consider that, okay, it's probably okay to advertise our products if based on our business structure we can upsell some services when we sell some products. That's various business decisions which management of the company will make or owners of the company will make based on the financial data prepared by accountants. That is why you want to be as granular as possible in a things like that. Let's continue. Okay, so where did we stop? Our balance sheet still doesn't balance for thousands, and that's because of that trade and other payables account. So we take it from here and we put it right here in the current assets, and we just copy. It should be balanced now. Total liabilities. Okay. Total. Okay, so our formula for total current assets didn't catch it. So, okay, that way it's fixed. So as an accountant, it will bring you a lot of pleasure to see a 0 in that check cell. Let's check the time. 9:41 p.m. If you have any questions about today's lectures or about anything else, any prior lectures or anything else, feel free to ask now, because I will be concluding the stream pretty soon. I will do a practice of couple of more entries, and we will do a glance into what the homework will be. I will send a separate email about homework and separate instructions. Let's see what I have here. So for homework, we will try to invent 5 transactions with impact on assets, liabilities, revenues, and expenses. So your minimum will be 10 transactions. You need to imagine your own business or just use any you want. You can say you are Apple company, or you can say you are Amazon or Tesla or AMC Cinemas, or I don't know, Spotify, or oil and gas company. And you need to come up with transactions impacting assets, liabilities, revenues, and expenses. Then with that transaction, so these transactions, you go to your homework file and you enter these transactions further in your work file, like this. Then you need to verify that your trial balance, you can practice accounting equation first. You can practice to allocate your transactions to accounting equation. There is a video about that, and there is also a practice of that done on the Q&As. Feel free to watch it, or maybe you need to ask me about the link. You can ask me about the link too. Then, okay, let's go back to schedule. Practice accounting equation until you are comfortable with that. So you do practice that until you feel, okay, I probably understand how why accounting equation balance after I enter each double entry. Then your task is to develop a trial balance for your company. I will even put that into the chat. Okay, it won't allow me. Okay, I won't do that. It won't allow me to post so much symbols into the chat. then you will develop trial balance for your own company. You can start with a template you already have here, like that. You need to make sure that your check is 0 and that you sum if all the values from transaction list. Then, when everything balances on your trial balance, you start to develop a mapping. You started to develop a mapping to the balance sheet, because here we have a balance sheet template. You can use that template, you can copy that file to your working file, like the one here. You can copy it to your working file, and you will sum if data from this file from trial balance to your balance sheet. So basically you will use that column for sum if, and you sum if that data, and at the end you need to get some balance sheet of your company, and that balance sheet should balance. And that's all. I will provide that homework with more instructions tomorrow or on Monday, and on Wednesday we will do a glance about what if anyone has done anything, and we will do some tips for that homework. And it's 9:45 p.m. Let's spend a few minutes doing the actual accounting entries, the actual accounting work. Let's go to transaction list. Okay. Let's say that we accrued salary payable. Let me know. Okay, from time to time I'm getting some internet connection issues. Hopefully it will not make everything bad. Hopefully everything is connected back again. So we got that situation that we paid salary to a product guy, to warehouse guy who deals with our products. So that's again, we increase our payroll provision, but we also get a new account here, and we go to our trial balance. And we add this new account here. And now we see that because that expense is directly attributable to product, and we have kind of cost of products here, most likely we need to allocate that expense to cost of product. And we keep that balance sheet mapping here too, so that all these retained earnings is a balance sheet mapping. And we need to update the amount. And now, so that part is not optimized, is not automated. So I manually change the gross profit calculation for the profits. So now our gross profits for the product business decreased. Let me add comment. So our gross profit for the product business has decreased to $4,000, and our profit turned negative $1,000. In that circumstances, it looks more and more like we need to do something about our product business. That I use that example to illustrate you how important it is to allocate your expenses to proper categories, to proper accounts. Yeah, you kind of need to have some business acumen to do it professionally and to do it with due care. I don't remember. I can be wrong about United States accounting. We can see if we will find out anything about that further in the MIT lectures. But when I was taught accounting, when I was studying accounting, I don't remember any lecturer going into such details, trying to explain why we need, what principles shall we use when we create accounts in the trial balance, and what is the purpose of all of that. But later, when I started working and when I started dealing with actual financial statements and managerial reporting, I was find out that in some companies it's pretty detailed, and they kind of track a lot of stuff, and they can extract a lot of value from their data. And many other companies, they just dump a lot of different kind of expenses into one account, and that way, and they also have some kind of relatively old accounting systems which could have been managed efficiently, but they are not managed efficiently. Everything is dumped in one account, and it's basically not manageable. That expense is not manageable if it bundled with many other expenses, and you do not have access to reporting which can bring you insights into that expense. So last opportunity to ask a question, and I will do one more transaction for today. If you can give me any idea about any item to do a transaction, I would appreciate that. Let me think for a moment. Which transactions do I want to make? Okay, I will do a simple one. So I will just pay payroll day, and that will be a good conclusion for these weekend lectures. So we just declare a payroll day and we pay everyone a salary. So what do we have here? We obviously have credit cash, so the company is paying cash. And how much did we pay for that? So we paid that balance and that balance. We paid 2,000. And what will be the debit? The debit will obviously be a payroll provision. So payroll provision and cash. So we zero out payroll provision and we credit cash for that amount. So payroll day is a great day. Money is coming into our bank accounts. Okay, somehow on my worksheet net profit is not right. That's because I need to update the formula. Let's see if all the checks works. So trial balance check does work, 0. Trial balance net profit is minus 7,000. It's a credit, so basically we have a net profit of 7,000. And balance sheet check does work. It equal to 0. It seems that we are seeing all the accounts here, and here our net profit, it's operating income because we didn't do any taxes or interest expense. So it basically matches the trial balance. That's why we know that everything is complete in our income statements. Thank you for your time today. I'm concluding these lectures, today's lecture. Next time we will meet on Wednesday, 9 p.m. to do more homework exercises and practice more accounting entries. Meanwhile, I will send you a homework by email. I will create some task in the homework folder. Where is it? So homework public. I will do instruction for homework 1